Trading is not a beginner-friendly endeavor for wealth generation, and I kind of put it in milestones where if you want to go from you've got $0 in the bank account or debt and you want to get to a 10k net worth, trading's not your vehicle because the percentile of success is so low, and more importantly, how good you have to be to make it work out. Meaning to say, I give the example of sales. If you can just get good at sales, how long is that really going to take? Couple months to get the basics. Will you be able to land a job if you're half decent? Yes. Will you be able to close deals? 100%, because some people don't need to be convinced. Some people are ready to buy and you're still getting a commission.
Right there,
So the guarantee of you making 10k in sales is there. You just got to do it for long enough. And if you're 50% of the way there, of a professional, if you're 80% of the way there, you'll still make money, you'll still close deals. But if you're 50% of the way there as a trader, you will not. If you're 80% of the way, you will not. So why would, as a beginner, to get a 10k net worth, would you start at trading, no matter how the perceived upside is so high and the barrier to entry is so low? As we said, it looks like the easier thing to do, but it's not the sensible thing to do. So I've kind of outlined previously of the roadmap to wealth, and I've also said, if you want to get to, let's say, a $10-50 million net worth, trading is a good one, but I wouldn't say it's the best one. Because there's also certain bottlenecks, limitations, psychology, and these things. Whereas if you just have a cash flow business, it's probably easier to go from the 5 to 10 mil range in a cash flow business as opposed to trading. I would argue, if you want to get to $100 million, trading would be harder than starting a SaaS and going for an exit. It's a skill thing, and you got to have money to invest in a team and so forth.
And
there's
demand and all that,
There's other things, of course, but like objectively, I would say that is easier. So when I've kind of mapped out for myself and what I've spoken about of a life plan to,
certain
stages, trading is not the first one. And the reason I say that is because not only the skill gap and not only all the other things, it's also a case of anchors you have in your life. And as you're basically alluding to, if you're focused about how much things cost at the grocery store and these kind of things, it's going to bleed into your trading. And you don't want to have these anchors because you're going to be trading with an outcome, which is what we've said. You're going to be desperate for time, and you're going to want something for a payout. Whereas if you just have cash stability,
well, inherently, why do the rich get richer? It's not because they're super smart majority of the time. And I'm sure you'll actually agree with this, and it was probably one of the more paradigm shifts I had as I got like wealthier and I met more people. Not a shot at anyone listening to this, but they weren't the level of smart I thought they would be, and not a shot.
I know exactly what you're saying.
I was like,
I've met enough
you know what I mean?
people
And
that
I
are
was
doing
like,
well. I'm like, you're not that smart and you're not that hardworking, I'll be honest.
I was like,
I know a lot more
honestly,
people that work harder than you,
Yeah.
but you just use leverage and opportunity really
at
well.
the right moment.
And I think
because
that's
you can
more
wait for
important.
it, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's the same thing. Again, I've leaned on this example a bit but like, I'd read this in a book once. I remember which one, but it was honestly probably one of the sentences that really did change my life. Was something along the lines of like, you only need one bull run to like change your life. The trick to it is putting enough in and surviving the bull run. Because the bull run's not just A to B. It could be A to B from time, and then A to B of like how much have you put in, and then the pullbacks along the way. And can you not pull out for a shit amount? Meaning, like, if you put in 10k and it's running 22, it's $12,000 profit. It's a lot in terms of someone who has 10k and whatever, right? But on the other side, it's not generational wealth changing. It's not one of those things. So it's like, okay, I have to have a bit more than that. And then in that moment when you realize, and you said this early in the pod, which I fully agree with, the more capital you have, the less you need. Meaning, like, Mark had actually said this once. I was actually being kind of like egotistical or something. He did call me out, and I really appreciate it to this day, because I'm a huge coffee drinker, like a general addict, right? And he's like, Abdu, you will never forget the price of a cup of coffee. And I was like, that's true. Like, I didn't understand that in the moment, but I was like, what does he mean by that, right? And because I was talking, I'd made a lot of money and whatever, and I was like, I was just being kind of like dickish. And if someone right now were to try to sell me a coffee and they were like $212, I can afford to pay it. But why the hell would I pay $212 for a coffee? I know the valuation of a coffee is somewhere between $2 to $9. Maybe if we're at like the Ritz, $12, whatever. But even at the Ritz, I'd be like, why are you charging $65 for filtered coffee? You can't. So you still know the value of the dollar in that way, right? And that actually kind of really stuck with me, and it really did humble me in that moment, because I was like, it's true. As you scale up in net worth and stuff, yes, different things change and whatever, but you still understand what everything is supposed to be to a certain degree.